Episode 5 of my microdrama broke on a face I barely looked at, and that is how continuity dies, quietly. So this is how to keep characters consistent in an AI microdrama, told as the 4 production rules that hold a season together, because the rules are the part nobody shows you. I make commercial ads for brands, and this season is the work I did to prove the method to myself. 4 rules, 1 episode, 1 mistake. Why does a face drift when you have already described her perfectly? Because every generation starts from 0. The model holds no memory of your project, it has never met your cast, and it reimagines whatever you did not hand it. Describing her better never fixes it, because the failure was never in the describing. A microdrama is 16 episodes of that risk, watched back to back by someone who feels a break before she can name it. What changed this for me was invideo agent, and I want to be precise about which part. The project remembers, so my cast stops depending on my attention. Every generation is built against what is locked and checked before it reaches me, so drift is caught at review instead of in the edit. And the work runs in parallel, so a season stops being a queue. Let me walk through episode 5. So what goes in before a single frame is generated? Everything in one go. Upload documents first, the show Bible, the screenplays, the location notes, the props, and invideo agent structures all of it into context, the project's memory. Then read the production rules page out loud, word for word, because those 4 rules are the spine of the season. Camera, static, and locked for every dialogue shot in every episode. My lead's hair open and loose, never a bun. In the townhouse scene, she stands for every line, and no morphing, no drift, no duplication, location stable. Why write 4 rules instead of describing each shot better? Because a rule survives a season and a description survives 1 generation. Each of those 4 is a checkable fact rather than a mood, and each sits in context inside invideo agent where every generation is measured against it. That is the difference between a world that holds and one that only held while I watched. How does invideo agent know what I mean by cool marble light? Referencing, I shared what I had in mind: the cast, the light, the feel of a Mayfair boutique on an ordinary afternoon. And invideo agent reads those references in layers, each element read on its own, so one frame lends its lighting without dragging its mood along. Then invideo agent came back with characters built from those references, and after a few rounds on what I had in mind, I finalized my cast and locked the character sheets. So how does a cast stay itself across 16 episodes? Because those sheets save to context inside invideo agent, and the agent attaches them to every single generation itself. That is how to keep characters consistent in an AI microdrama at the level of a cast. And nobody reattaches a face. Ever. Where do the locations come from? The screenplays? Not my imagination on the day. Episode 5 has 2. A Shoreditch flat in the morning and the Mayfair shoe boutique, interior day. I described both off the page, invideo agent, generated variations in parallel, and I locked the finals as spatial anchors. The boutique locks as shop windows for key, retail spots for fill, marble and glass reading clean and cool. With the sheets and the location plates locked, I went back to invideo agent for a second plan. And I say second on purpose, because the first came out of the documents step. Run that second plan against everything now in context, and it returns the season as a schedule. 16 episodes, 1 location each, 1 arc each, 1 cliffhanger each, running 60 to 170 seconds. How much of the shot list is mine? All of it. Storyboarding is where I set the setups in the order. Invideo agent drafts them into frames for my approval, and approved boards become the plan of record. The boutique scene is scrutinized, so it gets a vertical storyboard, and I approve every frame before any video exists. The trade is honest. A boarded scene stays on its board, and the happy accidents are what you give up. The multi-agent part I keep short because it earns its place on one thing: speed with control. I ran several invideo agent sessions at once, each with its own workflow, talking to each other through the same context. An episode director on one, boards on another. I handed them separate tasks and checked their work. Peers, not a hierarchy. So how much control do I keep at the moment of generation? InVideo Agent offers 3 settings: ask before every action, ask before each generation, or generate while I review. Each of the 3 is a real balance of control against speed, and I switch by scene. The boutique runs on ask before generation, so nothing is generated twice and nothing is wasted. Set the format out loud: 9 by 16 vertical, 15 seconds a generation, 4 shots inside it, 19 shots to assemble the episode. And production is where every one of those locks pays for itself. Here is the direction I gave, close to word for word: 15 seconds, 4 shots. The clerk opens the shoebox on the counter, finds the scratch on the heel, my lead watching from across it, named reference images for each character, camera locked, then the anti-morph language: no position drift, no teleporting, no duplication. Open the attachment panel before approving and read what InVideo Agent wrote underneath. Which model actually runs it? Not my call, and that is the point. A locked camera dialogue shot wants a model that holds one continuous take, which is the job VO 3.1 is good at. And a 4-shot sequence inside one generation is a different job. InVideo Agent routes each generation to the model that suits it, and no single model made this season. And now the principle, said only after you have watched it work twice. Continuity is not something you achieve inside one shot. Continuity is something you attach to every shot. The 4 rules in the locked sheets ride along on every generation inside InVideo Agent, whether or not I remember them. That is how to keep characters consistent in an AI microdrama. And it is what separates one authored world from 16 episodes that merely share a cast. So where did I get this wrong? The shoe clerk. She is on screen for one scene in episode 5. She opens the box, she finds the scratch, and she is gone. I gave her a quick lock in InVideo Agent instead of a full sheet because a walk-on felt like a walk-on. She drifted between takes, and I felt it before I found it, the way an audience does. What fixed her was not a better direction. The fix was the same lock the leads get. Save the walk-on sheet into context inside InVideo Agent the same day you save the leads, because a scene is only as convincing as its smallest part. Hers is in the library now, reading word for word, episode 5, The Shoe Clerk, full character sheet. What catches a drift before I do? The guard runs at both ends inside InVideo Agent. A direction that would break one of the 4 rules gets named before anything generates, with another route offered. A drifted take gets caught and regenerated before my review. And the honest trade is the camera. Static and locked on every line costs me movement where a slow push would have helped, and I take it, because long, unbroken time is the hardest thing to hold steady. Then the selects, the part I enjoy most. 3 or 4 options come back per shot. Pick on faces and fabrics, then drop the chosen takes into Premiere Pro in bins. 1 bin per episode, grain added in the edit. The cut is uneventful, because InVideo Agent caught everything upstream of it. So here's the proof. Flat. Across episode 5, 1 face for the clerk in every take she appears in. My lead's hair open and loose in both scenes and in every episode before them. The camera static on every line in the boutique. The same room from shot 1 through shot 19. 4 production rules, and InVideo Agent held all 4. So what actually keeps continuity in an AI microdrama? Not vigilance, and not a better description. 4 production rules and a locked cast living in context, the project's memory, with InVideo Agent attaching them to every generation and checking the result before it reaches you. That is how to keep characters consistent in an AI microdrama across a season, and the only version I have watched hold. If you are deciding what to build a microdrama season on, my answer is InVideo Agent. You will find it at invideo.io. And now here is an episode from the season I made with InVideo Agent.
You cook breakfast?
I said I'd be a good wife. I need to pop out, returning the shoes from the wedding.
Courtesy of that lovely family of yours.
Oh, you're funny, aren't you? Hi, I'm here to return my rentals.
The satin is scratched. You'll have to pay a fee.
What? There's going to be normal wear and tear, surely.